Hey guys, welcome to Nikki GTV, where we talk about movies, animes, and video games. And today we got a lot of news going on in the movie realm, so we're going to jump into it. But before we do that, be sure to subscribe to the video, follow the channel, and share this video with your friends. Alright, so we're going to jump right into it. And we got a special guest with me today, one of my best friends, Craig. What's going on there, Craig?
Going on.
So there's a lot of stuff happening this week, as you've definitely seen. So what was the first thing we got on the list today here, Craig?
Well, Nick, I don't know if you know this, but a little trailer for this little tiny no-name company came out the other day. I don't know if you ever heard of Marvel Studios. They just released what they're calling their final Eternals trailer. I don't know if you got a glance at it. It's very low budget film, but it's like indie, so I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, I saw it and I loved it, and I'm very excited. But I want to hear your thoughts first, Craig, because I think my opinion is going to differ a little bit from yours. So tell us, what do you think about this Eternals final trailer here?
Here we go. Well, listen, I absolutely loved this trailer. Eternals, similar to Shang-Chi, which, obviously we saw the great reviews for. I didn't know how I felt about it, to be honest, because I didn't really know what to expect. I'm not well versed on the history of them. But just like Shang-Chi, once they released the one of their later trailers, and they gave me a little bit more of what this movie is and hearing the reactions, this Eternals trailer now has me locked in, laser focused. This is now one of my most anticipated Marvel movies. They explained why they haven't gotten involved, because they were told not to get involved by the Celestials. And now they said they didn't fully explain it, but the snap of Thanos created energy. I'm assuming the energy brought out the deviants who were lying dormant for hundreds of thousands of years or hundreds of years, however.
Yeah.
That's what they're getting at. It might be a twist, but so now I know. All right, so I got that storyline, and then the action and just the scope of this thing, going through the history of the entire MCU from the beginning of time, or the beginning of Earth, humans on Earth. The scope looks amazing. It looks epic. The team is the cast and the team is just incredible. Angelina Jolie. It looks like it has heart, and it looks like it has even some comedy, which is what draws me in a lot. It's comedy, that IKEA joke at the end. This honestly looks like Kevin Feige's been talking about Eternals being Oscar-worthy movie, and this is their best MCU movie. And I am starting to understand maybe why he's saying that, because this seems like, just the way it's shot too. Yeah, so this looks like nothing that I've ever seen in the MCU, just in terms of the tone, the way it was shot, and the story. It feels like, obviously it's a part of it, but it feels like its own thing.
I know you like the whole Celestials, the whole space exploration, etc., etc., and I share some of the same sentiments with all the positives that you just shared. I think it's an absolutely beautiful looking movie with an absolutely star-studded cast. Salma Hayek, Angelina Jolie, all these guys, and I'm super excited to see it on the screen, but I am not without several concerns.
Oh, here we go.
I think there is 6 or 7 new characters that they're introducing here into one movie, when except for Guardians, every character was introduced individually, unless I'm wrong. But for the most part, Guardians was the biggest one with 4 or 5 new characters. And not to mention, not only is it 7 new heroes, there's a new villain, a new Celestial that we haven't met before, and all this stuff. And it's just a lot of new info to take in one movie, which is kind of different in the MCU realm of things. However, that doesn't really lessen how hyped I am for this movie. I think tying in a lot of fantasy elements into an MCU movie has never been done before, and I'm super excited to see where the story goes, what it takes us. And I did mention it to you off camera when the trailer just initially dropped, but I do think it is a little bit of a cop-out saying that they were told not to interfere. But I guess when they said they didn't interfere with any war or any drastic human fight, and they were told not to interfere is one thing, but when the entire universe is at stake, half of the universe's population is at stake, I think that's a little different. But we'll see if they delve into it any deeper, if they even show any signs of regret for not interfering. If they do that, even then I'll be okay with it. But I think it was a little bit of a cop-out. But besides those two big things, I think the movie's going to be incredible. I'm super excited to see it. I don't know, I can't think of any other negatives to say. If those are just two issues with the overall movie, I mean, it's probably a successful movie at that point.
And I don't necessarily think that the large cast is a negative, because it all depends, first off, on the director. And the director was, what was she? Best director. She got the Best Picture award last year's Oscars, or 2 years ago. I think it was last year's. So, I mean, look, well, it depends. Is every single character going to share the same amount of screen time? Probably not. Look at James Gunn. He introduced like 30 new characters in the Suicide Squad, and it worked out perfectly. Look at Infinity War. They juggled 20 to 30 characters, worked out perfectly. So I don't actually think it doesn't make me nervous, the amount of characters. And in terms of the cop-out part, sure, like, look, let's step out of the movie. Yes, it's a cop-out because they didn't have plans to make the Eternals in the beginning of the Marvel Universe, so they need to figure out a reason why they didn't get involved. Similar to Captain Marvel. I feel that they've done actually a better job in this trailer at identifying why they couldn't get involved than Captain Marvel's entire movie and Endgame did for why she didn't
True.
If I'm honest. I feel like this trailer explained it better than anything Captain Marvel did.
Yeah.
So
Captain Marvel's got a lot of its own issues outside of that, though.
Yeah, they have,
so
Captain Marvel has a lot of explaining to do, Lucy. Yeah. What's it called? But no, I feel like, look, and it makes them interesting characters too, because I think that is true to comic, that they were created by the Celestials. You're thinking now these people are around for however long humans have been on Earth. So they're around, well, I guess humans were there already, but very early humans. They were sent there to basically their only thing was to stop the deviants. So if the deviants aren't involved in something, they don't get involved. Right. That, to me, I think that is comic accurate, because the Celestials created them, and they said, this is your mission. And now I think through time, we're going to see that they've started to break away from that, which is where we're going to, and I feel that we're going to end up with them breaking away from listening to the Celestials in that sense. And maybe it looks like they're forming bonds with regular humans. And I think they're going to want to now, since the events of Endgame, since they didn't get involved, I do think you're right in the sense that I think they feel some regret, but also Salma Hayek was explaining it like as if, look, they something terrible happened and they persevered and they reversed it on their own. And I think they were kind of looking at humans in awe. So I do think they have a lot of love for humanity. And I do think by the end of this film, they are going to get involved. I think down the line, obviously, they're going to meet up with the Avengers in some aspect. But I actually think it's interesting. I think it's different than what we've gotten before, because these are people that, you know, throughout tragedy, they just sat there because they had their orders and they followed them. They only got involved with the deviants. So I think that actually makes them interesting characters who can have a lot of depth and regret and a little bit of the dark side. So I like that.
Yeah, I could agree with that. And I think overall, very positive reaction for this trailer. I think I'm more excited after this trailer than I was for the Shang-Chi trailer. I wasn't even into Shang-Chi until all these initial reviews were coming out. So I think overall, very positive trailer. A lot of excitement going forward for this movie. And this fall is going to be an action-packed fall for us Marvel fans.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So with that being said, we're ready to hop into the next topic.